Hello friends, welcome to the Blind Model Builder. My name is Rod, I'm the Blind Model Builder. And as you can see, I am wearing red, so that means it is the support our service members deployed. So that means it's Friday, so let's get into it. Please support our local veterans and first responders. Without them, we can't do what we're doing here. Welcome to the Blind Model Builder. Today is Friday, so that means it is time for our Friday bench update. Use the link in the description or my discount code to save an extra 10% on all your gallery and Kaleido paint needs. Use my discount code on your next gallery order from Amazon and save an extra 10% off of that order. I'm now in collaboration with Spray Gunner, so use the link below to get your airbrush, paint, and tools that you may need for our modeling hobby. Now let's get on with the update. Now I have two updates for you guys today. We are going to first start with the 66 Chevy pickup. Well, 60 to 66, let's put it that way. And I got a little bit of work done on it. A lot of it right now is just what am I not afraid to do? Well, first thing I did, I started cleaning the cab up. Got the opening here for the windshield. It's all cleaned up. I started getting some of the lines there cleaned up, getting it so it looks a little bit better. And of course, when you're doing that, I made a boo-boo. Right here, I've got, well, I'm sorry. I'm kind of doing this at an awkward angle today, and I'm sorry about that. Right here, I had a spot where I filed through, so I've got some putty in there. I'm trying to reform it. I'm going to make up some sprue glue and see if that'll work, but I'm going to get that fixed. I had to cut out a bit right here, and I will show you why. Oh, that was the other thing I had to do, is I had to do a lot of trimming on this interior piece. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get the door panels to fit in. I may actually just be changing out the seat. That would probably save me a big hassle. But before that did not fit in there at all. I've now got it so it at least fits, and I know that being a resin piece, there's going to be a lot of cleaning up to do. So far, nothing horrible. I'm still working on this, but I've started getting this piece cleaned up to fit in there. I have a little bit more trimming to do, as you can see. I haven't decided. I might just take that whole lower wheel well section out. That way you could see the headers coming down. We're still working that part out. I need to fit the firewall in there and see how that's gonna go. And then of course we have the really scary part. The part that terrifies me, because I've only got one of these. That is the bed, and that is this. And as you can see, to mate these two, something's got to get cut. And since I ordered this piece, that means this has to get cut. So I'm doing some measurements. I'm really starting to plan it out here, how much I want to cut out. Part of me has thought, well, maybe I need to cut the entire bed out, tub it, since this is pretty much set up to put, this is set up to put, to tub in anyway. Then again, I do have those tub sections I could use, but we'll see. I mean, I know that they're going to be cut up, but we'll see what we're going to do here. So this is a work in progress, and I know this is going to take me a while, so I'm in no particular hurry. Now we'll get on to the elephant in the room, let's call it. I have one last question for any of you viewers out there that have dealt with resin parts. Oh, that was close. Have dealt with resin parts. I seem to remember or recall that someone was saying that they need to be cured. Is that the case? And if so, can you please let me know? Let's go ahead and start with the good. As you can see, we've got the ride height set for the 62 Thunderbird. That looks about perfect. I love the wheels. This is what came in the box. As you can see, the motor is set in place. Looking good. And we have the undercarriage done, which also looks pretty good. Everything's painted up like it needs to be. So this part of the kit is for the most part done. And I also have the interior, the first color of the interior done. This is where I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure what direction I'm going. I'll go ahead and bring up one of the pieces. As you can see, that is the rear seat. Right now it is the Kaleido mint green. It's actually not a bad green. We missed. The mint green there. This is the color that the car is supposed to be. Kind of the, let's see, what color is this again? This is tropical teal, a candy tropical teal. That's what it is. So that's the color we're going with. Now let's get to the bad. If you watched my video on Monday, you will have noticed that I was having some paint issues. And I put a question out there, or I asked a question of one of the viewers about the tropical glitz and what the undercoat is supposed to be. I know that when you spray candies, you're supposed to use a like a chrome, a silver, a gold, something like that. Well, I used Fusion Firm, sprayed the candy down. I got the color I wanted right there. Beautiful color. I went to tape off the chrome and I had paint peeling. So I had to strip the body. And one of the viewers that was watching on Monday asked me, it's like, what I was going to use to strip it with. And I told, I mentioned back to him, I'm going to try brake fluid. I've never done it before. And I'm here to tell you, when I've had to strip paint off of a model before, I've always used Easy Off. I'm a brake fluid guy now. I put it in the brake fluid for about 2 hours, took it out, wiped it down, put it back in the brake fluid for another hour and a half, took it out, wiped it down, washed it. The kit looks just like it did coming out of the box. It's about perfect. I have a little bit of residue inside of there, as you can see. Oh yeah, he did strip it and paint it, but yeah. So for that viewer, yes, brake fluid works great, and I'm probably not going to have to do a lot more to this. I washed it in some Dawn dish soap. I mean, I actually let it soak after the brake fluid. I let it soak for a bit in the Dawn just to make sure everything came out. And got it washed off, rinsed it off real good. Then I put it in the dehydrator for, I think, at like 113 degrees at an hour, just to make sure it was dry before I handled it. And it looks perfect. Now let's see what it looks like with the body on the chassis. Let's see if I got that ride height correct. Now, for that viewer that asked me about the brake fluid, this is what it looks like after the bath in primer, chrome, and teal. I don't know if I have to strain this again before reusing or not, but I do know I'm not keeping it in this container. This is all I have on hand right now, and I'm reluctant to go and steal one of my wife's good Tupperwares. I'm thinking that might be a bridge too far with her. You never know, I might have to do it anyway. So let's get to that ride height. Okay, did I get the ride height close? Actually, I think I'm pretty close to it. So far, I'm fairly happy with it considering the setbacks that I've had. One step forward, two steps back. But, that's the modeling game. And that is what we signed up for when we took on challenges like this. And by the way, this is my one that got away challenge. And this is almost perfect because the one that I had like this, granted mine was a 64, when I had to let it go, it was in primer. And there's a funny story behind that, and I'll get to that in just a second. Well, when the wife and I bought the 64 T-Bird, that was before I lost my sight. And once we got it, I got starting to do the body work on it, starting to do some of the rust repair, stuff like that. Is about the time my sight went south on me. And I was trying to bondo up the body line, stuff like that. Being a Minnesota kid, bondo was my friend. You know it. If you're from that area, you understand what I mean. But I was starting to do that, and I thought I was doing great. And then my wife comes out, and she starts looking at it, and she goes, "Rod, do you realize that body line does not match the rest of the car?" And it's like, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "That body line kind of does this." Oh, okay. Started looking at it some more. It's like, ooh. And then at that point, I was still needing to do some mechanical stuff to it, some brake work, stuff like that. And I decided that, maybe I don't want to put my family in a car that a blind guy is doing the brake work on. That's what it finally came down to. So I wound up selling the car, let it move on, and that was the story behind the 64. But this one being a 62, close enough for me. Granted, I do have the 66. I do have some plexiglass to start trying to make the glass for that. I will get to that, but being where I'm at this year and some of the projects I have and some of the projects that are coming up, that is where it's all at. And speaking of that, I want to introduce the group build for the Women's Appreciation group build. Just a moment, I will get it. On September 5th, come join us for the 5th annual Dog Days of Summer car show hosted by Guardian Paws Service Dogs. Now, as I mentioned, the Women's Appreciation group build is coming up. The rules, from my understanding behind that, are it must be a female name, or it must be, I think, a name in a song or a rock song, something like that. And I sat there and I was racking my brains. What model up there do I have that's a female name? And I sat there and I don't know why I didn't see it right off, but it was basically kicking me in the teeth. So what better to build for a woman's appreciation than a Shelby? In my books, Shelby is a female name. Sorry about that, Mr. Shelby, but this is a female name. I know a bunch of Shelbys, actually, so that is going to be my Women's Appreciation Group build. And that group build, if I didn't mention it, I believe it starts September 1st. The other group build that I'm doing, that also starts September 1st. So I really do need to get my butt in gear, get a couple of these cleared off the bench, is the American Graffiti group build being hosted by Papa's Model Workshop. And there's actually some prizes involved in that one for the winner. So head on over to his channel. He's got a list of the cars that are acceptable for that. If they were in the movie American Graffiti, then they are an acceptable model. And I sat there and it's like, I want to build the 58, and I'm still planning on doing that. But the one I really want to build for this, because I think it's a cool little car, and it's a car that my wife wanted when she was a kid, is this one. This is the kit I'm building for that group build. So I've already kind of made sure this is the proper kit with Jim over there at Papa's Model Workshop, and he said it is. It's not the kit that he thought was out there, but he was happy to see that someone was doing something like this. And I thought, this is a cool little kit. I've opened it up, because again, this was an eBay open box, but everything's in the bag. Hopefully everything is there. So that is going to be my group build for the American Graffiti. And I may actually build a couple other of those cars. American Graffiti was my mother-in-law's and my father-in-law's. It's his favorite movie as well. So I may build these up and maybe do a little diorama for him. I don't know. He doesn't really have the room for it, but hey, let's clutter his house. Yeah. Anyway, with that, I am going to get out of here. I will see you guys on Sunday for Model Cars and Coffee. And yeah, like I say, the 62, right now I'm just waiting for the paint. I did order some more Tropical Glitz turquoise, and at the same time I made sure to order their, I think they call it flashy silver or something like that. Being a Tropical Glitz, I'm hoping everything's going to work together. When I reprimed the 62, it is going to be in an automotive primer. I'm sticking with that with the rest of this because I don't want to redo this again. Because I know the more times you strip a body, the more that can happen. And I don't want any more to happen. So, with that, I'm getting out of here. You guys have fun building. Make sure that if your bench is clean, that means you're not busy enough. Messy benches are good. Mine is very messy, so we'll see you on Sunday. Please support our local first responders and veterans and active duty members of the military. Without them, we can't do what we do here.